And welcome to Maverrik Live. I'm your host Luke 2, and today I'm joined by Dave Faulkner.
Good afternoon.
Speaking of, what time is it?
Yeah, forgetting already.
So it's always like 12 o'clock, little hitch. That's why I do it in the morning. Just be like, are you awake?
I know, I always answer the phone. I'm like, good morning, good afternoon. I can never tell which, always, like some people act differently, don't they? Which time it is, so. You
had a good way of cancelling by just saying, hi, I'm Dave.
Yeah, it's so much easier.
Pleased to meet you. You've reached Maverrik, that's it. That's all you need to say.
Good.
So today we're talking about imposter syndrome. If anyone's unaware of what imposter syndrome is and trying to work it out, or they've been diagnosed with it by a colleague saying, oh, you've got imposter syndrome, no, think about it, and you're Googling it, hello, welcome. Essentially, imposter syndrome boils down to you don't feel like you are deserving in the role you're currently at, or the current level of your career at you're currently in a sense.
Yeah, it's something you hear a lot in agencies, places like that. You don't so much hear it in, it's felt across the board, but it's a term that's used a lot in, I think, marketing agencies, things like that, digital agencies.
Yeah, it's got to do with confidence in a sense of where you believe like how your work is portrayed, and you're like, okay, I feel like I'm just, I'm in a position a fish out of water feeling.
Yeah.
Of, oh no, do I belong here? I've been put in this position. It happens a lot, I'd say, with smaller companies and people being brought in for those roles, especially when they start to grow like our company did beforehand, and the people who are existing and building up have now been put in higher positions and more responsible positions. Do you feel yourself, okay, now things are getting really, really serious. Do I feel like I belong here? Did I earn this? And a lot of the time you did. A lot of the time you know the work and you're good at what you do, but you always have that horrible, anxious feeling inside. You're like, okay, I don't know what I'm doing. Or you feel like you don't know what you're doing.
Yeah, I think it's most commonly felt when you start a new job, or you've just changed roles, probably, taken on more responsibility. I think it's a common thing. It's something that you may visit later on as well, when, say, the responsibility increases and the work pace increases. You don't get it so much, like you said, with big companies, because I think a lot of the pressure is taken off you. You can kind of grow at your own pace, and eventually you'll get there. But with a small company, when you're a lot more involved and they're a lot more reliant on the stuff you do, you can feel the pressure quite quickly. And I think that's mainly what it is pressure. So it's pressure to do a certain job that you may not feel like you're ready to do. And I think people might even not realize they have it, but it happens to most people every day, I think.
Yeah, especially in like when you walk into a fast-paced environment where a position needs to be filled quickly because the amount of work currently is at that level is there. So you're waiting and willing. So you sat there and wait a catch up. And no one expects anyone to just be perfect when they walk in through the door, because obviously every company works differently. People's, how they train people is different. So having that, culture shock, first of all, and then having to go and perform and, be the best person for that position. You can be very fast, and I think the quickness of it is what breeds that imposter syndrome. So all of a sudden now you are at this level which you might have thought you'd been in 5 years, and you're there in like a space of 6 months or a year, and it's just a way out of how fast it grows.
Yeah.
It's how it's, developed that way.
Yeah, I think it's a lot of people think. I think a lot of people need more confidence in a sense, but they also create it for themselves by telling them they need to be at this level. And actually, no one's expecting that. When you join a role, the person that brought you in is responsible for finding out if you're suitable for the role, if you meet the requirements. So if they've already done that, you should feel more than capable to do what they've asked you. If they're asking for more than they specified or than they chose to find out, then that's something they'll have to do to bring you to that level.
Yeah.
I think the hardest part you see is that if people are lying in their interviews and lying in their CVs and saying stuff that they weren't capable of doing and they're expected to do. But even then, I think most companies are probably understanding and end up giving them the training to get there. So I think that panic, all it does is breed more panic. So just trying to keep yourself calm and not abiding by like those rules of you have to be at this level, because you grow in the way you grow.
There'll be a reason you were chosen, and as long as you have, like you said, the credentials, as long as you've done that experience before, even if it's not entirely the full experience, but you voice your opinion of, yes, this is what I've done, this is what I know. As long as you're like completely open and honest about that, the person who brought you in then is responsible for our training and making you feel at ease. And if you feel at ease, you need to communicate that and say, like, look, I feel like I'm panicking a bit here of what I need to do. Can someone just check over my work or see areas where I need to improve? And it's little things which make the difference, I'd say. Just someone going over and go, yeah, that's great. Or, oh, maybe you want to tweak this. Or, oh, it'll be faster if you just click these few buttons. And those little things just help you feel like you sit down and you feel more comfortable in what you're doing.
Yeah, absolutely. Like you said, asking questions is going to be key to the beginning, the early stages, because your expectation you might be making up in your head, you may not realize that actually their expectations are a lot lower than they are.
Yeah.
I mean, I get it now. I've been doing what I've been doing for 6-7 years now, and even I still sometimes, I think in creatives it happens a lot, because you get days where you're just not as creative. So those days you think, wait a minute, what am I doing?
Yeah, you
here?
get those blocks. You're like, oh, I can't be getting these blocks because
I've been doing it for so long. Yeah,
and this needs to keep on going. I need to like make sure it's good all the time.
But life situations and things that can knock your confidence and bring you down, you just got to have a bit of self-belief, and also lean on the people that are there to help you. In any company, if you're being brought in, there should be a support structure around you anyway. So I think, people will really struggle with it, but I think they just need to take a step back and sort of analyze the situation and realize that their expectations are only their expectations a lot of the time.
It was interesting to see when I was bringing people in through Maverrik Lives, everyone said to me, well, I don't know what to talk about. I've got nothing to say. I have nothing to add and contribute. But this is like, we've done hundreds of these, 100 and a bit of these shows. Yeah. And everyone I've talked to has added something, insightful of what they do, some helpful advice. And it's all stuff they know. It's just the stuff they do every day. Yeah. And that feeling of, oh, I'm not good enough to talk about this is like the whole crux of imposter syndrome. Yeah. It's, I'm not important, I'm not a big deal. And some people who feel like they're a big deal are usually not a big deal, but those people who have imposter syndrome and go, I'm nothing special, I have a lot to learn, they're very valuable for a company because they know that they need to learn and they feel like they need to learn at a quicker pace because they want to keep up. Yeah. It's not good that they're uncomfortable about it, but it's a sort of a badge of honor to say, look, I know I need to learn more. Yeah. And that's more important, I'd say, if someone's going, I'm the greatest, I will never have imposter syndrome, I know what I'm talking about. Yet you want it on camera, you want it be presented like, but even I have moments where I'm like, look, sometimes I'm a bit out of my depth with, maybe it's something I'm talking about, maybe it's something I'm researching, maybe it's something I'm writing, but I'll do the research, I'll try and learn and, try and break that. Because you're not going to beat imposter syndrome. There are things you can do to help you move on with your career and how you want to learn and develop.
Yeah, like you said, overconfidence is probably one of the biggest damaging things someone can have for their career, because if you're overconfident, you'll make mistakes, you'll rush things, you'll think that you won't check things, you'll think, if you think you're already good enough, then, and you have no room to learn and grow, then you've lost, because that's where you'll stay. You won't move any further than that. And you will make mistakes that'll cost you. So I think it pays to be cautious, but also not to, you don't want them to take home that stress, and that's the difference. I think it's, imposter syndrome can come in multiple ways. You can just stop like I do, and every now and again, and you think, oh, I can't think of what I'm doing here, and that'll cause you to panic that you're not good enough at the job just for a split second, and then you get an idea and you're like, oh, I'm back. Yeah. Or you can have the sort of detrimental feeling of, is this job right for me? Am I supposed to be here? And most of them, like you said, they're long-term. So there's a long-term solution to it. It's rarely something you'll fix in a day.
Yeah, I agree. Well, thank you for coming down, Dave.
Great.
And thank you all for watching Maverrik Live. If you're suffering from imposter syndrome, you can check out, I think we have articles on our website which can help you move forward with that. And there's some really good articles maybe about business and helping you go over anxiety on our website, because it's not just social selling. Business can affect people's mindsets, and that mindset is important if you want to sell, grow your business, market, whatever you want to achieve in business. You need to be in the right mindset for that. And but there's also not a crux, and there's not a one-term silver bullet for that. So if you're struggling, make sure you reach out to someone, communicate with maybe someone who will help you going forward, or someone in the office, maybe a friend, just to help you push forward with that. The only thing we can do really is offer some advice and our own thoughts and opinions on that.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you again for watching Maverrik Live. We'll see you next time for our next show. Thank you, Dave, for coming down.
Thanks for having me.
And we'll see you next time.